Okay, we got a Yamato game. Let's check this one out. Let's start with the Yamato game. That sounds pretty interesting. Yamato games can always be interesting. Because Yamato is one of the most positionally demanding ships in the game. Let's see, what do we have here? Yamato. Pretty damn good matchmaking. I mean, a no carrier. The Shimas are an issue, but there's only 3 DDs. Zao can be an issue, but it's pretty okay matchmaking, honestly. Oh shit, I'm still hiding it, sorry. There we go. Pretty okay matchmaking, though. Kutuzov, well, you can stealth fire, or you can smoke fire. Neptune, you can smoke fire. Overall, pretty good. Are you gonna play the Arbillions? Yes, I will play it later. You actually got the good spawn as well. Basically, on this map, there's really terrible spawn, which is spawning in the middle. And that it's a terrible spawn because if you open fire, you automatically get crossfired by the enemy. And then you get the flank spawns, which is this one, which is the good spawns because you can shoot at people trying to move away from the terrible middle spawn to the side spawns. So, spawning on the sides is always better on this map because the middle spawn is awful. Why Wargaming made it like this, we don't know. Especially sometimes when they put cruisers like Moskva in the middle, you kind of have to run for your life to try and survive in the Moskva because you get spotted extremely quickly. Your team was really special? Yeah, that last game was... It was enough to switch to replays. That game was... my teammates were a disaster. Standard battle, Cyclone, Zao, like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and then my team suicided. Not really much to talk about. I'm pushing towards C, which isn't a bad... Oh, is this gonna glitch for us? Oh. Can you fuck off? I don't wanna enable that. How was it you turned off UI? Was it Control Y? Yeah. Okay, that doesn't get rid of this thing either. So we're gonna have the shift bug. How does Wargaming manage to add these new bugs to the game? I don't know. I'm pushing pretty aggressively towards C, which is pretty okay, but I probably wouldn't push too much deeper than this. Are you scroll zooming? Please stop scroll zooming. That's a sketchy turn. I wouldn't make that kind of turn while you're spotted. No, this was a bad move. Okay, this was a terrible move. You should have gotten closer here to the island and then turned while in cover. Instead of turning here, you should have taken the time to sail a bit, build up some speed, and then turn as you're close to the island and the island offers you cover. Instead, you started turning at very slow speeds, giving full broadside to everyone. You got lucky that the Bismarcks didn't citadel you there, because at that range, giving that much perfect broadside, they could easily have done it. So use the terrain. You had a perfect island there to cover your turn, but you didn't use it for no reason. So absolutely should have used that stuff. You don't really need to kite that far away. I mean, your team has kind of abandoned you here. Your team isn't really supporting as much as they could, but you are, so far you're not really being punished or pressured, so there's no reason for you to flee. I mean, what is pushing you? A Ognevoy and a Hipper? Neither of those are scary. You got a Minotaur here and you got a Fletcher, so I don't really see the reason why you're running so fast. You're also sailing straight towards an island, which means either you have to give broadside, which is bad, or you have to turn left, in which case you can't use your guns. So I don't know why you didn't just stop here. Stop here with your guns pointed in and angled. I don't think there was any reason for you to run away this way. I mean, you are being pushed by a Hipper and an Ognevoy. Ognevoy and Hipper are ranks among the worst tier 8 ships in the entire game. incredibly easy to kill, and very little firepower, very little threat in general. So I don't really know. Turning back in once you've gotten out, sketchy, especially with your Fletcher dead. Honestly, you would probably be better off just turning away this way and just getting the hell out of here. Because now you're turning into, you don't know what you're turning into. Has the enemy grown balls? Are they all pushing, charging this side? If they are, you're going to die. And it's you can't really, with no DD scouting for you, you can't really put pressure here. Sketchy. Sketchy. I was thinking if I should leave this flank or turn back and turn back. I don't know, man. I don't like the position you're putting yourself into. I don't like the position you're putting yourself into. You didn't have information, so putting yourself into this kind of risky position without having any information of what they're doing is really, really sketchy. Hipper popped up. Ognavoy popped up. Probably better to shoot the Ognavoy. The Hipper is not really much of a threat. Should have probably shot the Ognavoy there. Should have shot the Ognavoy. The Hipper can't spot. The Hipper can't torp. The Hipper isn't really a threat to you. The Ognavoy can do both. So I would have preferred you shoot the DD. In general, in case you're uncertain what you should be focusing, always focus the DD. You could have gotten a really big chunk of damage on him there, and that would have been a lot more useful than getting a chunk of damage on this guy, who you're going to be able to shoot easily now, regardless. But the Ognavoy is gone. And the Ognavoy, well, he managed... Why did he get spotted? Is it Radar Minotaur? Why on earth did he get spotted? I don't think Minotaur radar should reach that far. I don't know what the hell that Ognavoy is doing. Now you're pushing. You should not push here. You're pushing into at least 3 cruisers. There's also the Ognavoy threat. You know he's pushing around the flank, or he could have turned around if he's smart. In general, there's no reason. You're constantly on the move and constantly like giving a lot of broadside to everyone. And I don't really know how to feel about it, because you're putting yourself at significant risk quite often. You're turning to cover the Minotaur. The Minotaur just needs to stop shooting and he's covered. You cannot physically block the shells. The best thing you can do is to put threat, scare the enemy into not chasing him. You should shoot the Zao. You should shoot the Zao. Zao is giving you broadside. Full broadside Zao. Pay attention to the minimap. You see how much broadside he's giving you? Look at the minimap. He's giving you a flat free kill right now. You should be shooting the Zao. You missed your opportunity. That was more map awareness, more minimap awareness, absolutely. He's still giving you broadside. You still have the opportunity to punish him. He's giving you the flattest broadside. Now you notice. He's accelerating. That should be a dead Zao. He can get lucky, of course. Yep, the Zao is Zao. But you had plenty of opportunities to shoot him. Now the push I was afraid of is happening. The Baltimore is pushing around. However, it's not really that scary for you because you have so much health pool left. And all you basically need to do is run away. In general, you want to keep running away. You want to keep running straight this way, all the way here until you can turn right. You're turning too early. You cannot turn and shoot him yet. If you turn and shoot him now, you put the island in your way. Lack of planning here. Lack of planning. What you wanted to do was sail straight down like this, keeping your guns pointed at the Hipper and Zao in case they pop up, like the Hipper did now, so that you can instantly shoot them. And then when you get enough of free space down here, that's when you turn to the right. And then you can start focusing the Baltimore. Because as long as the island is in front of you, you cannot turn and shoot him, so it's completely pointless to turn the way you did. This Hipper really wants to die though. Like, holy crap, he really wants to die. He's going out of his way to kill himself. Most likely a dead Hipper. The aim looked pretty okay. I think you might have aimed a bit too low, because he's pointing nose in, thinking he can actually bounce your shells. And now because you didn't go deep enough, down here, you still can't turn and shoot him because you risk grounding. So this one turn, this too early turn here, is really screwing you with this Baltimore. Luckily the Baltimore is dumb enough and started rushing you. If the Baltimore was smart, he would keep going wide like this. He would keep going wide, forcing you to turn more and more. But even as little wide as he's going, he's already becoming an issue because you have to watch out for grounding. Yeah, aim was off on the Hipper. He aimed too low. Lucky this Baltimore didn't go further south. Like, a smart cruiser player will stay behind a Yamato, because he knows how much of a struggle it is for the Yamato to shoot right behind him. So, this guy though, he kind of potatoed it. Pop your spotter plane, your fighter plane, pop it, pop it. Okay, missed chance here. If you had popped your fighter plane, you would be able to shoot him with your back guns over that island right there. But it's too late now. Ogneboy is being an idiot and wants to suicide. Interesting. Not enough lead, not nearly enough lead. Ogneboy is quite fast. Missed opportunity. Luckily the Ogneboy is still suiciding though. Finally the fighter plane. Now we got the information on the Baltimore. That's good. You should be able to turn fully to the right and shoot him as well. You should slow down now. You know he's pushing this flank, you should slow down. Stop your speed, wait for him, you know he's there. Okay, you're missing out. The problem is the further you push, the easier he can farm you. You want to slow down and wait. If he stops, your fighter plane is about to come around and spot him anyway. So all you need to do is slow down and wait for him, and you would have gotten that kill. Pushing the way you are is stupid, because now you're being shot from two sides, and you don't have the shot either, because now he's just gonna sit behind there. You might be able to get him because he's dumb enough to keep pushing, but it's sketchy. Baltimore was dumb. If Baltimore was smart, Baltimore would have popped defensive AA and shut down your plane, and you would have lost all vision of him. But overall, missed opportunities. Baltimore keeps pushing, which is extremely stupid. Once again, slow down. Slow down, slow down. There's no one who can really shoot you right now. You can easily take your time and take a perfect shot. Not enough lead again, I think. Nope. Not enough lead. I think close range, you overestimate the shell velocity of the Yamato quite a bit. Yamato's strength isn't raw shell velocity. Yamato's strength is having extremely heavy shells, which means they retain speed really well at long distances. They don't lose as much velocity in the air because the shells are so heavy. I think that's making you think that because you don't have to lead as much at long ranges, you also don't have to lead as much at close ranges. But that's actually not how it works. So not enough lead there. But yeah, the game is lost. The team kind of suicided straight through A like idiots, of course. But in general, missed opportunities. Positional things that I pointed out. Very risky turns for no real reason. And more minimap awareness about terrain. When and how you can... Your report, compliment. Anyway, that was the Yamato replay. Fate26, thank you for the sub, much appreciated. Let's see what else we can. Let's see what other replays we can check out. Benson ranked. That sounds interesting. NC ranked. Ranked Lol Yang. 145k damage. Jesus. You guys must all be like super Unicom. Because your average games are really impressive. Let's see, which one did I open? Which one did I open? I opened the Leningrad. I haven't featured the Leningrad in a while. Leningrad is actually a ship I quite enjoy because it's so fast. It's one of the fastest ships in the game. I mean, chat always criticizes really harshly these players, but I'm pretty sure I could point out tons of mistakes from pretty much any replay, including like my own. If I open my own replays, I can point out multiple mistakes. So just the fact that I point out mistakes in other people's replays, it's much easier to see what people do wrong. It's much easier to recognize what the mistakes are, because you don't have to focus on controlling the ship, you don't have to focus on aiming, you don't have to focus on any of those things, because you're just spectating, and it's very easy to keep track of everything that's going on the minimap, the surroundings and so forth, when you don't have to control these things. There's also no pressure, there's no issues with split decision making, like everything is a lot easier when you spectate. That's why it's very easy to criticize some of the replays you see here. Wow, what a potato. But I'm pretty sure a lot of people make many of the same mistakes that we see these people do here when they're playing themselves. Let's see. Leningrad. Tier 8 matchmaking. Very fortunate matchmaking. Only one New Orleans radar. Kagero can outspot you, but Minsk and Fubuki are very small threats. No carrier. So this is kind of the dream matchmaker. Pushing aggressively into the cap, that's fine. Running concealment build, I assume with 7.3k in concealment. Survivability expert perk as well, that's good. You should be running it on it. Bit far away to go for these torps. Also going for nose first torps are rarely recommended. Leningrad torp reload is pretty long, so you maybe don't want to waste them this early. Okay, you got spotted. It could be in the cap. Nope. How long will you stay spotted? Okay, now you know. If you had gotten unspotted... Okay, he was down here. Now you know. The DD is back here. You could preemptively torp this gap here. But you already know that it's unlikely that you will be securing this cap. It's highly unlikely you will be securing this cap. No concealment expert. Oh yeah, he's actually... Did Leningrad have such good concealment? Wow, that's impressive. Turning in, I don't like. I don't like this turn in, because you're gonna get spotted. And this is risking a lot of potential damage. Your guns aren't turned because turret reverse on the ship is actually very slow. I did not like that turn in. You are not gonna get this cap. You are not gonna get it because the New Orleans is pushing in. So it was already established from the get-go that this cap was not going to be taken during this first attack. Because New Orleans is pushing aggressively in, there's a DD in the cap, and there's this cruiser. So no, that turn was certainly not worth it. Even if he's dumb enough to eat these torps like a potato, that was not worth it. Because a better player would have turned in and dodged those torps. You just risked eating a ton of damage for a very small reward. So that was way too risky. I don't like it at all. Instead, you could have dropped the torps, yes, but you needed to turn out. There was no reason to let him know. In fact, turning out would have been even better, because then the guy wouldn't have the warning of where you are and the warning to dodge the torps. By turning in and letting yourself get spotted, once again, if the any enemy cruiser was even remotely competent, he would instantly start taking evasive action. So that was not even though you got 2 torp hits, I didn't like that move at all. Way too risky. Way too risky. Very low chance of damage, very high chance of being punished. So, in general, you want to take trades that are beneficial. You want to take trades where you have a high chance of dealing damage and a low chance of receiving it. And that thing was the complete opposite. The New Orleans pushed into the cap, so you knew you were going to get radared. This was very predictable. It was only a matter of time before he radars you. Once again, Kind of sketchy still hanging around here. At least you have your speed boost active, so you should be able to somewhat well dodge. Let's hope the North Carolina can't aim. Okay, his aim was sketchy, I think. Bayern is shooting you as well. Kiting and disengaging is the best option right now. There's also the option of going stealth right now, because you're about to have your torpedoes up, and in general, well, first of all, I dislike that you're shooting your torpedo tubes out of sync, because one of the reasons why Leningrad is so strong is that you kind of play with both guns and torps, in the sense that when you want to go in torp, you play stealthy, you get close, you drop your torps, and then you gunboat until your torp reload is up again, and then you go close and you drop torps again. So when you desync your torp tubes, then you're losing out on damage both times. New Orleans is spotted. In fact, it looks like your team is spotting him. There's a good opportunity here of switching to AP and punishing his broadside. In this case, I would probably have sailed this way, smoked up, switched to AP, and just farmed his broadside. You can probably even citadel him from this distance because he's giving you full broadside. So, as long as he's forced to angle against these guys, you can just farm his broadside like this. And I think that was a missed opportunity. Lenny has Udaloy torps. Yeah, I think they're 8 km range. He's got 2x4 8 km. They did... what was the damage? They were... I remember them being really good, actually. Questionable. I don't like that you sailed all the way back here. Why are you going around this way? You were the only scout for the entire team. Your team has no vision now. The only reason they had vision was because you were sailing around here. The second you go behind this island, you're denying your team all the vision, all the information. And in general, pushing down this way would have also given you more broadsides. Better chance to torp. You could torp them in the side instead of torping in the nose, which is the worst angle to torp from. Because, well, behind is actually the worst angle. The nose is the second worst because it's so easy to dodge torps coming towards your nose. So I would have liked the push down here significantly more. Not only would you be able to torp broadsides, force them to turn to dodge. If they turn to dodge the torps, they give broadside to this guy, so you're helping your team even more. But also you would be able to farm them with AP in the broadside, which would be significantly stronger, since Leningrad AP is actually very strong. So the torp usage really sketchy. What the hell is this Kagero doing? Why is he spotted? He's shooting you. Why? Slow down. You should right now. You should be slowing down. You should have stopped there, smoked up, and killed the Kagera. Even if New Orleans radars you, that's fine. You could have gotten so much damage in on that guy. That was a bit of a missed opportunity to deal a lot of damage to the Kagera. Finish the New Orleans. AP is good. He's giving you broadside. Lucky fire on the first hit works as well. Kagero is still shooting you like an idiot. Stop firing, go stealth. Okay, you're still gunboating. Questionable, your torps are up. You want to be using your torps. If you gunboat, you have to keep creating distance. Ideally, I would probably have gone undetected here. Closed in, dropped torps, maybe gotten some shots in on the Kagero, and then started gunboating and kiting away. Fire chance is good, and I mean you're still getting some good damage, and your team seems to have full map control, so it's not really that important. But I still feel there's a lot of wasted positional opportunities in this game. Also, you're putting yourself constantly in a position where you have to torp from the nose, and you never want to torp from the nose. You always want to torp broadsides. You have such a significantly higher chance of landing torps when you torp from the broadside than when you torp from the nose. You're also being unnecessarily close. I don't know why you're 7 km away from this Nagata. You have, what, 11 km range? You can easily hit the battleship at massive ranges. Why are you so incredibly close? If that Nagata knew what he was doing, he would have blapped you for a massive amount of damage there. Being 7 km away from a Nagata, like the shell velocity alone, means that he can blap you very hard. So, more usage of the range. Like, I like you. I would like you to be further away when your torps are not ready, and I would like you to be closer and more broadside when your torps are ready. Also, the Kagero was a bit of a missed opportunity. Because I think the Kagero is the reason why they're capping this now, and you can't really do much about it. Those torps are not... Okay, if he sees turning away, he's already not turning towards you, and he's 9 km away. These torps are gonna... If he keeps going in a straight line, without changing his course at all, your torps are gonna run out. But it's more likely that he's going to turn away, because that's what battleships usually do when a DD pops up fairly close, like you did. And that's exactly what he's doing, he's turning away. So those torps had a very small chance of hitting to begin with, and when you decided to open up fire after launching them, the chance became 0. Flamu was a reason why I chose this one, as I did a lot of questionable things, but also looking for how to improve overall. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea of these replays. That's why I don't ask for people's super powerful, super great replays of 200k damage. Because usually there's not nearly as much to learn from those as the average games. Even your worst game is probably going to be a lot more of a valuable lesson than your best game. Especially if you don't know why your worst game was your worst game. You had some really good fire RNG this game, I gotta say. But then again, Leningrad does have fairly decent fire chance. But I feel like you're getting like these random shots here and there are giving you fires just when you need them. But ultimately it's working out really well. The issue is of course still the Kagero. You still had a chance to kill him earlier. AP here would be good. When you fight battleships that have a lot of superstructure, Bayern, New Mexico, Colorado, ships that have a lot of stuff to shoot, you want to shoot the AP. You absolutely want to be shooting AP here. You could be doing massive damage on AP broadsides, like 2-3k AP volleys at a time. So, once again, bit of a lost opportunity. Not sure about that. Worst games tend to be very short games. Yeah, but a short game where that teaches some important lesson can still be very valuable. I mean, there are of course bad games where you get unfortunate RNG, your team is just garbage. Like, these short games happen, but oftentimes when people have these short games where they die early, they sometimes might wonder what the hell was the reason. Was it just a team, or did they actually do something wrong? And usually the knee-jerk reaction is to blame the team, or blame RNG, or whatever. But that's not really always the case. That's not really always the reason. Once again, AP. Broadside, NC, especially you can use AP on his superstructure, you can use AP on the side of his nose, like this part of his nose here. Thin armor that you can pen, and your AP will arm, so you can do significant damage. Those torps tells us the Fubuki is probably down here. Fubuki or Kagero is down there. AP. So much broadside, so much flat broadside to farm AP on. It's finally turning in, which was of course to be expected. If you pop up with a DD shooting on a battleship that has even slightest bit of brain, he's either going to be turning in or turning out. Risky. You should get out of here. You should not stay here. Not worth it. You have a lead, you have an advantage. Staying here is extremely risky, because you're not sure if you're gonna get vision of him. You don't know where the Kagero is. The Fubuki was spotted. The Kagero might be torping your smoke right now. Kagero might even be brushing your smoke. There's a lot of things you don't know. So staying in the smoke, not a good idea. Should have gotten out of there instantly. I think you waited too long and he's gonna spot you as you leave now. Yep, you waited too long, he's gonna spot you. Now, is he a good enough player to actually punish you for it? What the hell? Okay, he's shooting HE. Clearly this guy, very questionable. So you kind of got away with that, but in general, if you have a lead and there's no pressing need to stay in the smoke to take that risk, get the hell out. This was another example of, holy moly, okay, this is risky. I understand you wanted to drop the torps, but this was risky because now he gets another chance to punish you. Reverse more. You can't make this turn, I think. Or, actually, no. Leningrad might be able. Very risky moves. A consistent thing I'm seeing in this replay is you take extremely high risks for very low reward situations, and oftentimes unnecessary risks. See, once again, just like when torping the Budionni, that worked out, but in both cases this was not a good move. It was more the fact that the enemy was an idiot. Right, let's see if we can feature another one. Let's see if we can feature. What else do we have here? We have a North ranked Link M replays, boys. Hello, this is not sir. Link them replays, boys. Let's see. Whoa. Holy moly. Okay, we got a lot of replays. Jesus. God damn. Right, let's see. What do we have here? We have an Izumo game. I don't think I haven't featured Izumo in ages. I could check that out. We got, what else do we have? Kutuzov game. That's also pretty interesting. Let's check the Izumo. I haven't featured Izumo on my channel in absolute ages, and people ask me about the Izumo quite often since it's a bit of a challenging ship. Got a Warspite from Santa. Really not clicking with that boat. I have a fair amount of Warspite commentaries on my channel. The gameplay on that ship hasn't really changed much. It's an AP monster. Izumo, let's see. Okay, so Izumo with excellent matchmaking. Saipan, I mean, no, tier 7, even if it's a Saipan, shouldn't be that much of an issue. No real, I mean, Mogami is going to be annoying, Donsko is going to be annoying because Izumo eats a ton of HE damage. Fletcher is an issue, the DDs are a bit of an issue. Especially Fletcher and Changmu. Those are some nasty damn torps coming in. But battleship-wise, you are kind of golden. Izumo is just as vulnerable to HE as it is tanky against AP. It's a monster against AP. Like, this ship is so hard to citadel even when it gives broadside. It has no superstructure to pen when you're sitting angled in. Against AP, the Izumo is incredibly tanky. The weakness is, however, 32mm armor all over the place, which means HE pens it and HE eats it alive. So that might be a bit of an issue. Duke of York, and you can overmatch. You can overmatch and just completely shatter that guy. Scharnhorst should also eat tons of damage from you. The cruisers all eat tons of damage from you, so should be interesting. Going wide on the left flank. I don't really mind that. In general, might consider pushing a bit more central, because you got a Fletcher scouting for you. If the Fletcher is actually scouting very aggressively. Whenever you see a friendly DD that's pushing in to scout very aggressively, you kind of want to help him out, because he is the most likely person to spot the enemy DD first. And in general, you want to have your guns pointed his way and be able to help him out. Radar cruisers, he's going to spot them. Enemy DDs, he's going to spot them. These are all priority targets. Flamu, this is the Southeast Asia server, so it will be full retard. Fair enough. Oh, that's a flat broadside York. He's stuck with the island. You see, he can't turn left because of the island. This is actually a really good chance to punish. I think I would have taken a bit more of a lead than that. I don't think that's quite enough lead, but he might not be moving full speed, because I think he's focusing on the Fletcher. He did turn in a bit. Skitzer, 17.
Tutaroo.
Tutaroo. Skitzer, thank you for the 17 months. Much appreciated. Should turn left to bring a third turret into the game. You need to aim higher. You know he's going to turn away. You already know he was turning away. You know he's going to turn hard away. So when you know someone is going to do that, you need to aim higher. I think you aim too low for him. Okay. What the hell? I wonder if that was a replay bug. Because that looked like you weren't aiming high. He turned away, but he still ate a double citadel. I guess that could just be Mogami though. Mogami is kind of made of paper. Flamu knows about Totoro confirmed, implying that song hasn't been donated to my channel like a million times on Tone Deaf Tuesday. I don't know how that was a citadel. I think dispersion was really favorable. It might just be the replay. The replays aren't always entirely like accurate, and it looked like he aimed like perfect broadside and not high enough, but clearly not. That Izumo. No camo Izumo giving full broadside. Interesting. You got two DDs in front of you. At this point, well, you got planes. You actually got carrier planes in between you and the DDs here. So that's keeping you very safe. But you gotta consider, you are right now, this blob of battleships is the priority target for these DDs. You are in the middle of a blob of the juiciest targets those DDs could think of. So as soon as these planes disappear, you need to start considering popping your spotter plane just for the potential torpedo information. Because there is going to be torps incoming. Absolutely. I'd be very surprised if none of these decide to torp this way. Kagero was kind enough to torp while being plane spotted, which saves you your spotter plane because now you can see his torpedoes. If a DD torps while being plane spotted, his torps are automatically instantly spotted, and once a torp is spotted it never gets unspotted, so that makes it very easy. At this point though, you wanna start pushing. You wanna start pushing a bit. You always gotta be a bit skittish when it comes to double DDs, because you don't really know where they went. But they should both be inside the cap. There's a chance one might have gone wide here, but the planes should have spotted him, so more than likely both are within the cap. So in that sense, you can push up, turn in, should be fairly safe. Ideally you could ping your Mayhem to actually get into the battle and do some scouting for you. Here, you might want to consider popping spotter plane. For this Donskoy keeps pushing up like this, he's about to give you a broadside. And you might be able to shoot him over the island and punish him. Okay, it's actually turning away now, so there was no need for it. But in general, you want to shoot, when cruisers go around islands like this, you want to shoot them before they expect the shells to be arriving. Because if you wait until they pop out from behind the island and then shoot, then they will realize the situation and they will turn around. You want to be sneaky in battleships. You want to catch people off guard with that firepower. Good old battleship AP on DDs. Fun and engaging. You want to start turning hard in at this point. You want to start turning hard right. There's a high chance he's dropping torpedoes. Okay, you're turning hard right now. That's good. That is good. You want to go nose in towards where he died. Point nose right towards here, because there's high chance there's torps coming this way. Even if there isn't, well, it looks like it torped the guys behind you. But in general, whenever you see a DD turn like that, it's almost a guarantee that he's dropping torps, and that's when you want to turn in. Popping plane would probably have been a good idea as soon as you saw him turn. At this point I would probably pop the spotter plane just to get an idea, because you know there's a Fletcher Kagero somewhere here. Middle cap is contested, that's a big warning sign. There's a DD here, probably a DD here. Okay, the Fletcher just let us know he's back here, but the Kagero is still around. And the Kagero let himself get spotted by the Mayhem? Wait, what the hell spotted that dude? He let himself get spotted though. You want to be real careful turning into him now. Rather than turn at this point, I would probably just stop. Full stop and maybe reverse a bit. Because there's a high chance there's torps coming this way. but you can't turn fully nose in because then you're giving broadside here. I don't think you're noticing, but you're giving way too much broadside. And if this Scharnhorst and Izumo has their eyes open, you're about to get punished extremely hard. So I would have preferred just stopping. Stopping would have been fine. You had an island to protect you from these guys, so there was no need to give them full broadside. The position you're in now is good until Aditi is spotted. When Aditi is spotted, you're gonna fire, and then you're gonna be caught full broadside. So this position works, or this smoke works until you fire. Oh my lord, that Donsko has no self-preservation instinct. Holy shit. There's the spotting. You're turning back, you're giving continual broadside. I don't really like this angling at all, because this is not angling, this is please shoot me. Finish the York. Secure the kill. Secure the kill. Always secure the kill. You can still get him behind the island. Okay, that's a missed opportunity. Getting rid of the York would have been valuable, because he's the only cruiser around, meaning he was the only source of defensive AA for those two battleships. So getting rid of him would have opened up the strike opportunity for your carrier. Once again, Fletcher. Remember the Fletcher. You should be popping spotter plane now. You just want information. You want to know where... You want the potential of early warning of the DD. Once again, the Mayhem manages to spot the Fletcher. I don't understand. How is this Mayhem spotting a Kagera and Fletcher? These guys are playing like idiots. Why is he picking a gunfight in front of a battleship? He's nice enough to turn away, so you will get maximum pen opportunities. No hits. You do know there's high chance there's tropes coming this way, you need to keep turning. Keep turning, keep turning. Also, Missouri in here. You're actually in a terrible position right now. You have crossfire from here, Torps, and Missouri pushing, about to pop up in over here. I hate your position right now. I hate your position so much right now. I think you keep pushing too deep, and I think you should have slowed down and chilled around here, rather than keep pushing. And now you're pushing even deeper, which is going to put you in even shittier position. They are kiting away, so you want to stop and you want to reverse. You really want to get out of here. Now the broadside is open. Is the Missouri punishing you? Here it comes. Here it comes. You only get 10k. That's of course the magic of the Izumo turtleback and Izumo armor. But I don't like this positioning at all. You are not putting yourself in a position where you can make use of the incredible Izumo armor when it comes to dealing with AP. You're kind of getting lucky at the fact that these guys are getting 0 damage on you. Are you secondary build? This Missouri is angling. You want to keep turning right, keep turning right. Missouri can't citadel you at these distances anyway. Your turtleback kicks in. Wait for the shot, then turn hard right. There's the shot, now you should be turning hard right. You got double fire, damage con, turn hard right, get the hell out of here. Permanently broke one of his front turrets. Okay then. You are having some pretty fortunate RNG this game. There's the torpedoes, as expected. With the Fletcher there, of course, is going to be torping. They ran out though, that's good. You have an opportunity to punish the Missouri here. Pop your heal. You still haven't used a single heal this game. You haven't used a single heal this game. 0 heals, 0 spotter planes. Finally. That could have been used a fair amount earlier, but that's okay. You want to turn right. You don't want to turn your... No, you don't want to turn your turrets. You want to turn right. You want to turn away from this guy. You want to be turning this way. So you can bring your guns to bear on his broadside and you can angle against these guys. I think you realized that yourself as well. That's good. Full turn, full turn. You let him get behind you, which is really a problem for the Izumo because it doesn't have any backwards firing turrets. Full turn, full turn. You are probably going to die, but you can maybe take him with you. Aiming too low, he's too angled to be pinned. Luckily that guy shot your angled armor. Keep turning, too late. Position! Position, position, position. I hated your position. I hated... From this point on, when you were here, like, I think the mistake this game happened... The mistake... Can I fucking get free cam? Thank you. Okay, never mind. When you were here, and you had the opportunity to stop and reverse and play safe, and you instead decided to turn into the smoke. That was the mistake. That was the key mistake. That from there on, everything started going to shit. Because then you started getting crossfired from every direction, and there was really no way out. You were in the middle of epicenter. Everyone was around you, able to shoot at you. So in this point here, just stopping. You don't even need to reverse, just stopping so you're angled and just shooting these guys and playing it safe would have been much better than this, because from this point on it was a shit show. From this point on it was just a shit show. Right. I think we'll do one more. We'll do one more replay. But that was the defining moment really, where your position went from decent to just down the drain. There was there was nothing to like recover from at that point. It didn't matter how well you played after that point because your position was suicidal.